What's going on, everybody? It's Chip Walton, Chop and Brew, here with the coordinators of a inaugural homebrew competition called Deja Brew. I'm here with Garrick and Eric. My name is not Derek, which would have worked really well. My cousin, my brother Daryl, and my other brother Daryl.
That's right.
No, Deja Brew is a competition focusing on historical and lost beer styles. In our hand, we have a historical lost beer style. Tell us about this beer real quick before we talk about the competition.
I don't know, what style is it? I think I forgot. This is it's a pre-prohibition porter that I put together. Featured some flake maize, some brown malt, using some more historical ingredients.
Yep.
It's a little more mild than a modern take on it. Use some cluster hops, trying to keep it as classical or historical as possible.
And I think that's the key, right? There are old techniques, there are older ingredients, there are things that modern beers have set aside that we can reimagine, rediscover, or refamiliarize ourselves with, and that's what the competition is all about. Like taking a look back at something new that's old. We've got 43 old or forgotten styles from around the world that we're hoping those of you watching this will enter and explore and learn about.
Certainly more. I mean, after all, these are forgotten styles.
Right.
So surely there are some that we're overlooking.
Yeah, that's right.
But really what we're looking for are things that really are not mainstream anymore. We're not talking about old styles that are still commonplace, right? We're not looking for a British IPA or a mild or a bitter or something that's still really pretty commonplace now that you'll see in other competitions. Mm-hmm. We really are looking for things that a lot of people have probably never had or never had before, but they do have a lot of historical value, or put in the context of how they influenced modern brewing, like things that were just regionally specific, yes, such as a Coit beer that Eric and I have brewed a number of times.
That's right.
And we just brewed.
Things that, or the raw ales out of Scandinavia, or the version of them that are smoked with juniper, or the things coming out of Eastern Europe, right? There's a whole plethora of styles to explore that don't often have a place to be showcased, that so many people around the world are continuing to investigate and foster and maintain, and we want to highlight and showcase those and advocate for further adoption and exploration of those.
Those styles typically don't do well or get a fair shake in a typical competition, right? Because they're going to be lumped into historical specialty, and you're going to have these, by today's standards, something that's probably going to be way too bitter or way too sweet, or have these off flavors from being a raw ale, going up against something that is a clean modern take on a beer that might have, I don't know, cotton candy added to it or something, right? So it's just trying to compare these like apples to apples in a modern competition is just very difficult. A lot of these beers don't fare well because what's the reference against your judgment?
You're putting something that is unknown and unfamiliar against something that is well known and well established. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, but I'll preface it by saying, even if you don't want to enter this contest, which I think you should, you need to go to their website, DejaBrew.org, because if nothing else, it's an amazing list, clearinghouse of sorts of historical and lost styles. You will get lost, literally, in reading all of these different recipes, and you guys shoot off to the BA, you shoot off to cultural sites from around the world about these styles. So learn a style, maybe try it, enter. But one thing I want to ask you, for anyone who might be judging, like, how are you training judges or expecting them to get educated on what could be like the widest range of beers they've probably ever sat down and enjoyed?
We took a lot of time earlier this year to go through all of the potential styles that could be and really assess, do we have a reference, even if it's not the BJCP, even if it's not the BA, which there are some of those included. Mm-hmm. We do recognize in this competition their historical styles. If they're not recognized by those bodies, do we have a reference that will be equivalent? And so that's what That's what the site today represents. Everything on there, we feel pretty confident that there's a resource that will inform the judges in the same way that a style guide from the BA or the BJCP would inform, to help support and assess the quality of an entry.
Yeah, so they might not be able to go get a commercial example or an array of commercial examples to try for these. But what we've done is tried to provide the judges with enough information that they can still use their normal sensory evaluations of the entry compared to this description of it and what they describe for the style. So the things that we've added on the list of acceptable styles to this point, there's enough information to provide a sensory description of it, what to expect from the style, what a typical example of it might be. And hopefully, since we also have the advantage of having a lot of experienced judges in this area, we'll be able to get people together that will be able to use those descriptions to make an informed decision and appreciation of, okay, this is wild, I've never tasted something like this before, but it's hitting these points, it's fitting the description of the style, it's what we might expect in this historical context of the style, and give each entry a fair evaluation and appraisal based on what's expected for that style. So,
Information you trust to guide the way.
Yes.
For people who know how to use that information. Would you expect to see international entries? Are you hoping to see international?
It would be amazing to see international entries, right? Especially from the indigenous styles. So many of the styles are regional that if there were people that are intimately familiar, I would want those really strong examples to be entered. They would definitely be better than somebody who's just trying to figure it out and not familiar with the traditions, the culture, the ingredients, the processes, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It would be great to have authentic examples.
So, I guess, to that point, a lot of these styles are going to be very big. They're going to finish sweeter than what we're accustomed to. So I think there are a lot of these that would be amenable to shipping long distances because they are going to be shelf stable.
Yeah.
I think historically a lot of these were brewed to be something that would last or keep and age pretty well.
Yeah.
Also, I think we're open to additional styles as well. So if you have a style that you know of, you're familiar with, as long as there's some documentation that we can provide the judges with, right? This isn't like, oh, I heard this mentioned in some, arcane manuscript from the 1700s. Right? We got to be able to find it, describe it, be able to put together a decent resource to provide the judges with for evaluation as well. So if there's something that you know of that you'd like to enter, or you think that we should have on the list as something that people might want to brew and enter, by all means, there's contact information on the website.
Yep.
Send you some resources too.
Send it over.
Again, these are literally forgotten styles. If they're commonplace and people are still making them frequently, they probably would be part of the competition. So
I'm just going to brew a random beer, build a Wikipedia page, send it to you guys, and I'll be like, this is exactly what I brewed, so I'll win.
Chip and brow.
Chip and brow. I swear, Wikipedia is a legit resource.
Those entry suggestions will be vetted. But we are open to suggestions.
Absolutely.
So, the list on the site, although Garrick has really assembled a tremendous amount of information, it's not comprehensive. There are certainly many styles out there that either we just haven't found enough resources to make them something that we allow at this time.
And to that point, there is a whole nother list of potential styles that didn't make this year's cut, largely because we weren't able to find documentation to support them in the way that those did make the cut. So there's a list of styles that are just waiting for a little bit more information. If you can send that over, we are more than happy to include that as in the accepted style list for this year. Thank you.
So entry, say mid-December, judging is February?
Mid-February.
Judging is February
In the Twin Cities?
in the Twin Cities. Will be a 3-bottle comp, $8 an entry,
I think so.
150 entry max.
Shipping information will be on the competition website. We will have a shipping location within the Twin Cities, as well as local drop-offs for any brewers who are in the Twin Cities, who might be passing through the Twin Cities.
Have mules for the Twin Cities.
So we will have that information on the website soon. We're just finalizing details for the shipping address at this point.
Yes.
But others, that will all be available through the competition site.
That's right. Registration opens December 15th.
We will be looking for judging volunteers as well. If you're interested in judging, stewarding. I mean, really, what other competition are you going to get to try things like this? So even if you yourself don't want to judge, if you want to help steward, sign up. This is going to be, should be a good time.
Should be a good time.
We're going to find some lost styles. We're going to remember some forgotten styles.
Chip and brow.
Chip and brow. All right, Joe. Cheers. Good luck.
Cheers.
Deja brew.